The thing about holidays is that a lot of folks do listen to podcasts on the holidays and they like to try to catch up. So instead of giving you a ton of new information from me, I wanted to share with you the thing that I find interesting, which is what my team has enjoyed about the podcasts that we've produced lately. So I asked the three folks that are most responsible for helping bring this show to you: Jeremy Pingle, our head of operations; Chris Mottram, our head of content and brand, and he's our chief editor; and Herman Chalet, our production manager. What episodes were their favorites of the recent episodes we published so that you can cue those up and listen to them instead? Jeremy points to Dan French, an episode on agrivoltaics, episode 616, in fact, that is simply fantastic. It is a dive into the way that we can reimagine how photovoltaics and farmland can coexist. And Dan French is such a character, very entertaining and informative. Chris, who recently helped us relaunch and rebrand our YouTube channel, points to his favorite episode. I would say it's his favorite darling, and the episode that we used to launch our new in-person video strategy, and that is Damien Beauchamp of 8 Rivers. We recorded that here locally in Durham, and I'm really proud of not just the work from that interview, because we learned so much, and I was so nervous to do an in-person interview after so long. It's slightly different from how we think about the RE Plus interviews, but Damien is just so brilliant. He is truly one of the pioneers in our industry, as is 8 Rivers and the team that they've put together there. So that's episode 648. And then Herman Chalet, who touches every single episode that goes out, along with Chris, looked at the content from episode 642, which also, if you wanted to watch a shorter version, episode 649, we feature some amazing insight into using eco bricks as a new form of storage. That is Energy Vault, of course, which mimics hydropower. Robert Piccone is one of my favorite entrepreneurs that's been on the show in a long time. I mean, we've really had some fantastic guests lately. We're going to link to those so that you can check them out. It should be in the description wherever you are listening or watching. Thank you. If you're on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and help us spread the word. We have seen a pretty phenomenal growth of our YouTube channel lately, and we're going all in on video. So thank you guys for giving us the feedback that we're doing a good job. I really appreciate that you guys watch on YouTube and our clips on LinkedIn. You see, I started this podcast without a ton of deep introspection about what it would look like at episode 650, but knowing, as I've stated in numerous episodes that you can go back and listen to, and I'm sure we'll put in the description, of folks who have interviewed me, Andy Klump and Scott Sullivan and others, about my journey and why this podcast exists. I really didn't start out thinking I'm going to be a professional podcaster, but I did have an idea that this could be a vehicle to allow me not only to express myself, but to allow others to express themselves, to share their story. In 2015, there were practically no podcasts. I will note that my friend Barry Cinnamon has been doing the energy show for longer than I have, for sure. He's over 1,000 episodes, and he's syndicated in California, and he's focused on educating homeowners. And I love the guy and all that he has done. But there really wasn't a representative podcast that would pull back the veil on those that were leading the now what we call the clean energy revolution, the solar revolution, not in the United States, let alone in Latin America, where our first several episodes through probably episode 30 plus focused on the pioneers that were really championing solar in a sector of the world that at the time, 2015, was the fastest growing solar market in the world. Man, how things have changed. And I never could have imagined that over the course of 8 years, I would, as some of you have said, become famous. Famous, obviously, big fish, small pond. As the industry grows, I find that it's kind of humorous for me to think about the fact that I have in any way become well known. I do like to think about the fact that if I have achieved any renown at all, it is in elevating the voices and the stories of those champions on the front lines of the clean energy transition. those iconic leaders who really are challenging the status quo. And so it's in that vein that I want to say thank you and really, truly express a debt of gratitude. I am nothing as a creator, as a podcaster, as a personality in this industry without followers, listeners, without you clicking play, without you subscribing to the show. If you don't show up and recommend this show, I'm shouting into the void. I'd like to think that over the last 8 years, we've learned how to tell an interesting tale, to weave a yarn, a thread of storytelling that captivates and engages. I've been told that we've helped a few people get jobs and we've helped a few companies find people. And in the process, somehow, we have become relevant in the podcast realm, small though it may be, for renewable energy, as a guiding light for those who want to develop a career or company and seek growth in the clean energy sector, notably in the solar sector. A lot of folks say that we are a solar podcast, and I embrace it because, as my friend Danny Kennedy is often reminding me, solar is the tip of the spear. It is the lead domino. And for the next 50 or 100 years will be the largest form of generation in the clean energy revolution and probably in the grid writ large. So welcome to the clean energy revolution. If you're new to SunCast, I hope that you will check out our other episodes. And hey, if you are regular here, I am a quote hoarder. So I wanted to share at the end. Yes, I usually start with quotes. This time I'm going to end, and I'm going to share with 3 quotes with you that I think are apropos for this time of reflection and appreciation for the period of the holiday year that we call Thanksgiving here in America. If you are not in the United States, we celebrate by mostly breaking bread with one another here in the United States, a holiday called Thanksgiving. I'm not going to go into the who, what, when, where, or how of it, but I'm sure you're aware of it and familiar. The 3 quotes that I would leave you with are these. The first is from William Arthur Ward. Gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgivings, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. The second is from one of my favorite authors, Ernest Hemingway, and a book that I hope that you will read if you haven't already, called The Old Man and the Sea. The quote goes thus: "Now is no time to think of what you do not have. Think of what you can do with what there is." That, my friends, is definitely wisdom that I hope that you will integrate. The time that we're living in is the best time on earth and in history to be alive. Take advantage of all that is before you. I express my deep gratitude for your showing up here today. And I'll leave you with a final quote from Rumi: "Wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life." That's it for today. Please go enjoy your family, your friends, and maybe another SunCast episode. Thanks again for showing up, Solar Warrior. It's half the battle.